pirates, opium, and good neighbors. How Solovyov justifies the current war by rewriting the history of Britain and Europe. Ukraine as a pirate state, and Europe as a deaf observer. What's behind Solovyov's new speech? In the latest episode of his show, Vladimir Solovyov presented another set of accusations against Ukraine and the West, framing them as a pseudo-rational analysis of the war. This segment is a typical example of how Russian propaganda combines emotional threats, legalistic substitution of concepts, and demonstrative moral superiority. Three key themes dominate. 1. Declaring Ukraine a pirate state. 2. Preparing the audience for the possibility of further escalation, including threats to cut Ukraine off from the sea. 3. Asserting the complete collapse of the Ukrainian armed forces and morale. 1. Blaming Ukraine for all attacks. A shift to the image of pirates, Solovyov begins with a sequential list of incidents: strikes on tankers near Turkey, the bombing of gas pipelines, attacks on Russian infrastructure. In all episodes, he asserts that Ukraine is the prime suspect without evidence, specifics, or references to investigations. The key point is the rhetorical shift to the concept of piracy. When Putin, in the quoted section, states that attacks by the Ukrainian armed forces on ships in the economic zones of third countries are piracy, this serves two purposes. Legal substitution, equating military actions, including those recognized by Russia as war, with criminal terminology. Moral substitution, presenting Ukraine as an entity outside of civilization, which will make future punishments easier to accept. Against this backdrop, the most radical option is introduced: cutting Ukraine off from the sea, that is, depriving the state of access to maritime trade as a form of collective punishment. This is no longer an analyst's commentary, it's a stated political intent, albeit under the guise of, "we're just discussing it." And let no one else shout, "we didn't start this." Let them remember who started it and how it will all end. And we will give those who have ears the opportunity to hear very clear and understandable messages from Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin. Yes, attacks on tankers in neutral waters, or even not in neutral waters, but in the special economic zone of another state, a third state,